This champ talk, shooting shots, they just want me to fade. But my game made when I'm getting buckets today. Crossover, pull up, bet you fall for the hezzy. Game 7, prime time is butterflies on your belly, now can you do it? Folding under the pressure, boy, can you do it? If you going, show 'em who better. Don't let the game slip and don't get caught in the lights. Crown me, yeah, Jordan taking off on the
Baby,
flight.
give me all the rings right now, we the champions. We the champions. I do my thing right now and it can be done. They said it can't be done. Give me all the rings right now, we the champions. We the champions. I do my thing right now and it can't be done. They said it can't be done.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy AB. We back with another.
Let's go.
That's right.
Me and Dunny back in the mix. You already know how we do it when we on the track. Let's go. It's been a while since a mixtape. I got my shit straight. Now me and off a big plate. I'm like a sensei. Got a bitch who ass like Kim K, but she ain't Kim K. Cause she keep
Day in the life of sports, and I'm your host, AB, and this is Open Gym, the Morning Hustle, man. I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to have some fun today. It's a lot that's going on in the world of the sports, man. But before I even get into any of that, everyone out there in Philadelphia, I hope everyone's okay. Because if you was in our region, in the tri-state area of Philly, Jersey, Delaware, you might have been took back or surprised by, just some random shaking in the ground, a little glass shaking. First of all, I'm sitting here, and if you don't know, we just had an earthquake. It was just reported we just had an earthquake here in the tri-state area of Philadelphia. I didn't know what was going on initially when it happened. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, if you're in the Philly area, Cheryl Parker, the mayor here, she's been talking lately about, street cleanings and things of that nature like that. So I was like, oh, maybe Cheryl out there, she doing her thing, baby. She out there cleaning the streets, getting the streets of Philadelphia clean. But no, lo and behold, it was a freaking earthquake. Channel 10 here, our local station here, saying it was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake that hit New Jersey, specifically, which Philly and Delaware, felt the remnants and the effects of that. So that was just a little bit shocking, I guess, to see, obviously. But then, as you know, I think it was about a couple years ago, 2011, I believe, we had one prior that actually hit the actual city, and that was actually kind of a little crazier. We didn't feel this much. It was more of a sound more than anything for where I'm at, rather, the part of Philadelphia that I'm in. It was more of a sound. You heard the rumblings, but then also you heard, a little bit of the glass and the windows and things and cars and stuff shaking like that. So that definitely was, it was a shocker. You just going through your morning hustle, doing this, doing that, going to the store, taking kids to school, whatever it might be that you might be doing. And all of a sudden, a shake, you know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, though, everybody's good. I hope everyone is good, especially people in New Jersey and things of that nature. I hope everybody is all right and, they're feeling good. But forget all that. We are here, Morning Hustle Open Gym. I got a lot to talk about. We're going to dive right into it. I appreciate everybody tapping in, whether you watching on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you at watching any of this. I appreciate you stopping in. Obviously, if you enjoying yourself while you're here, make sure you tap in with us. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, man. Let everyone know that what we got going on over here at Open Gym. A lot of things we got planned that I got coming up. Obviously, more that'll be explained and revealed to you later on in the weeks. But let's move on, man. Let's get right into it. Let me pull up my notes here that we got. I got quite a few things that happened. Obviously, we all know this week we're going to head right to the NFL. We're going to start at the NFL first. Obviously, we know this week we had a couple things that happened this week. Obviously, the first thing, the big news over this week, Stephon Diggs, the Bills, Buffalo Bills wide receiver. He was recently traded to the Houston Texans, who's been working this off season. The Houston Texans traded for star wide receiver Stephon Diggs for only a second round pick, which is not crazy for who he is. Yes, he's 30, but you would think he would command a first round pick, especially the haul that was given just to get him over to Buffalo. So they and then the only thing is it was made out to in 2025, I believe the pick is for. So it's not even for this year. So for the Texans, that's a great value trade, second round of a 2025. Uh it's only for 1 year. I also read that they voided, the last couple years of his contract. So essentially, this is just a 1 year deal. So he has the option to go into free agency afterward. But I mean, look what they're doing in Houston, man. D'Amico Ryan's, a former linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles as well. Uh, Come on, you go about C.J. Stroud, uh, Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. They already traded for the Bengals running back Joe Mixon. Last year, you had two wide receivers that exploded on the scene with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. So you adding Stephon Diggs into that mixture as well. Adding the defensive players that they added in free agency this offseason as well. Houston Texans is going to be an issue. They're going to be a problem in that AFC. There's no way you can sit there and say it's not. If you sit here and say the quarterback CJ Stroud, if you take another leap after having a fantastic year with not a healthy offensive line and with not the offensive weapons that he have now complementing him, and the defense as well, absolutely. The Houston Texans definitely going to have a successful year, I believe, man. They hit the hair on for the Houston Texans, man, for sure. But yeah, man, great move by D'Amico Ryans in that organization. This, like you said, the quarterback is on a rookie contract. That's what you do. That's the formula that Howie Roseman did with Jalen Hurts a couple years ago. Just surrounded with talent. AJ Brown. Devontae Smith. Just keep on adding. You know what I'm saying? Take full advantage of this 4 to 5 year window you have with this young quarterback who's playing as well as he is, and possibly win a championship. So that was a great move by D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans to go out there and Stephon Diggs. So I definitely believe that's going to be something to reckon with. And overall, this NFL season, it's a toss up. A lot of different things is moving. A lot of different things is shifting. We all know who had the cream of the crop, the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce is still there. Andy Reid is still there. For the Philadelphia fans who recently signed Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz, who signed with the Kansas City Chiefs as well. So backup quarterback, he's not playing, but God forbid Patrick Mahomes was to get hurt. But either way, though, they're the cream of the crop. You got to look out for them. They're always going to be in contention when you got those three guys still there, still in effect in Kansas City. But as far as everyone else, a lot of teams gotten better. A lot of teams, gotten weaker. Dallas Cowboys, who hasn't done anything. So we're not going to jump on them too much. But absolutely, man, that was a great move by them. But then also news that happened yesterday as well, and the latest news: the Eagles. Adam Schefter report here. The Eagles is reached an agreement to a 3-year, $66 million extension, $48 million guarantee, $20 million signing bonus. Making, Jordan Mailata here. He's going to be here to 2028, essentially like that. Listen, offensive linemen are getting paid. We remember back in the day, if you're watching football long enough, the old linemen, the old linemen that really get paid was the tackles, especially specifically the left tackle, usually protecting the quarterback blind side, who usually is the right-handed quarterback. But offensive linemen are getting paid. He's a left tackle as well. You signing him, getting him locked up for the next couple seasons under contract, still have much money to play with. Obviously, they're also moving on for Hassan Reddick as well. So it's just there's a lot of different change of parts. But I did see a graphic earlier I wanted to show up here that the Eagles has done this offseason. Jordan Mailata, 3 years, $66 million. Landis Dickerson, another offensive lineman that they signed, 4 years, $84 million. Saquon Barkley, obviously being traded over here for the next 3 years, $37 million. Bryce Huff, the new DN that we basically swapped out for Hassan Reddick, brought him in 3 years, $51 million. And obviously bringing back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for 3 years, $27 million. Right here, just looking at this right here, it's telling me a lot right here that Howie is sitting here trying to open up this window for at least at minimum for the next 3 years. Howie Roseman is definitely trying to open this window up for the Philadelphia Eagles to maximize this team, what they have going on. Okay, I'm getting some information here. That's all I'm sorry. What they have going on with guys like when you got Jalen Hurts on this contract, and you still got AJ Brown signed under contract. Obviously, they're gonna take care of Devontae Smith, Smitty, my guy, the other wide receiver who's going into a contract year as well this year, which I guarantee and I absolutely believe that they're going to get him re-signed as well. Going forward, get him re-signed and get him going in this team as well, which I believe they will get done, and I believe how he will get done. So the next 3 years for sure, the Eagles have a window here. It all predicated on Jalen Hurts coming back, Jalen Hurts, getting better, camaraderie, hopefully whatever's going on in the locker room that's going on within that locker room is fixed. And I wanted to touch on that as well. Obviously, it's a lot of news that's coming out when it came to Hassan Reddick leaving, him having maybe issues with Matt Patricia last year, dropping him in the coverage, talking to different people that I know that are close to the situation, that just know that last year was definitely tricky for him. He was playing a lot, obviously injury the first couple games, but then, in the contract year, I know there's no way as an NFL player, especially in the NFL specifically, when contracts aren't guaranteed, and you've been producing, especially the last 2 years, having double-digit sacks, only tied with a man like Myles Garrett, who's a stud as well. You want to be compensated. So I'm not mad at Hassan Reddick actually wanted to be paid. I don't believe necessarily how he actually wanted to pay him. I'm just being serious. Rather it was all field issues, rather it's locker room situations, whatever it is, he just didn't want to pay because there's no way you let your best defensive player walk. You let your best defensive player just you trade, not walk, but you trade your best defensive player essentially for nothing, for a 3rd round pick, which that can turn into a second, depending on if he plays. I believe it's like 67% of the snaps, or if he get double digit sacks again. If he get 10 plus sacks again, it can actually move from a 3rd rounder to a 2nd rounder, which the value there is good. Maybe you want it. Maybe they're banking on the Jets being sucking after maybe this year, with Aaron Rodgers coming back. That's why they picked the 2nd rounder to be in 2026. I believe the year is the pick is going to come. They banking on there being bad and get a higher draft pick, which I understand the business part of it. Very smart. I understand that the analogy and everything that goes into it. I just don't believe if I just gave you the numbers right there. You got these guys signed for the next 3 years. There's a 3-year window right now that you're trying to win. And you can't sit here and tell me that having someone like Hassan Reddick in that mix, wouldn't help for the right now. And for all intents and purposes, Hassan Reddick, they didn't even sign him in New York in with the Jets. He hasn't even signed a contract. Because usually when you sign a player on his last year of a deal, if you trade for him, rather, the intentions is for you to be signed as well. We can't pay everyone. We have a younger guy. Your intentions is to sign that player as well. So I get it though. It's a business, and Hassan, he didn't go out there and bash anybody, but I just still believe that if they didn't even sign him, he could have sat here for at least 1 year as well. And even if he only played for sex, that's the notion that he's just playing for sex. Even if he just playing for sex, like you say, you still have the depth. You still got Josh Sweat. You still got Nolan Smith. You still got Brandon Graham. You just signed Huff. So it is what it is. You got here, you got Danny. We can't pay everyone. You have a younger guy you picked in the first round. Yeah, I mean, but it's the draft. You know, nothing's for certain unless you picking top five. And even at that, we've seen guys like a Jamarcus Russell at quarterback, like us in the first round grabbing a guy like who's the guy we just had, we just traded away. Man, he always was penalized. I can't even think of his name right now. Derek Barnett, first rounder as well. He broke all of Reggie White's collegiate records at the same college he went to and came in. He did do much. So it's as much. I'm more of a go for the certain thing that's going on. But again, gotta trust what the guys are doing down there in yeah, Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith as well. That's another one that we drafted in the first round who stunk as well. Absolutely. But yeah, I do believe if we win the win now season, obviously I showed you the numbers. The next 3 years is something that they're actually locked into, that they want to maximize at least these next 3 years to try to win something. I do believe that's something that we have to actually look at. But he's going down. Can't do really much about it. Going forward, we have here. I am obviously, hoping that we sit there and we uh, got lots of money. We still can sign Devontae Smith. He's probably if I'm not mistaken, the only person left that we have to resign. Really, we just restructure another, not restructure, but actually extended Blankenship, the safety that we have for another year as well. So we got him locked in. So we got depth at the safety position. We went out and got guys at linebacker, stuff like that. So a lot of these different things are going to be isn't done. This team that you see presently constructed, that's why I'm not freaking out too bad. This team that is presently constructed with the Philadelphia Eagles right now isn't going to be the team by the time week one come around when we in Brazil, playing our first game in week one. Excuse me, playing week one in Brazil of the NFL season. So we got the draft coming up. A lot of moves going to be made. Obviously, we know we traded for AJ Brown 2 years ago in the draft with the Titans. So it's a lot of different things that's going to happen. This isn't going to be the end all to be all when it comes to this team. So I'm very looking forward when it comes to that. Hey, like I said, we got plenty of money. Listen, you can make this up to me, baby. Sign Justin Simmons, Howie Roseman. Sign Justin Simmons, Howie freaking Roseman. Justin Simmons is still out there. If y'all don't know, is a safety for the Denver Broncos, who is a free agent right now. He's 30 years old, yes, but still have a lot in his tank. Pause. No Diddy, whatever you want to use. But still has a lot left in the tank to play going forward. Like I said, it's a 3-year window. Even if you sign him at this point, no one signed him. So obviously he's looking for a certain number right now. Being at 30 years old, obviously being 30, this is probably his last big contract, rather, I should say. So if how we can somehow figure some out 1 year deal, even I'll take a 2 year deal with him, maybe a team option for a third, something like that. Get Justin Simmons in who I feel like would solidify the back end. Obviously, you got guys like Bradbury coming back. Got to see what maybe gets a little bit better with better players around him, and Vic Fangio being a defensive coordinator or whatever like that. So definitely that's something that we can look forward to as well when it comes to that. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what's happening. Yes, he's a dog. Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely. I appreciate everyone stepping in, obviously, all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere that y'all at right now. Listen to the stream. I appreciate y'all hopping in. But yeah, man, make sure you like, comment, share. Let me know what y'all going on. But yeah, so NFL season. Oh, another note just hit me. Absolutely. Avonte Maddox, the slot corner that we had, signed a 1 year deal as well. He's back with the Eagles as well. Again, 1 year deal, adds depth. I'm not mad at it. He knows the system. He's been here. He's comfortable. Obviously, he doesn't want to leave. So I'm not mad at the move, bringing him back as well. Bringing him back into the fold as well. So I'm all for it. Excuse me. I'm all for it when it comes to that move as well. So let's move on. let's keep on going down the list. So we have that going on. NFL season is definitely going to be uh, 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 exciting to see. That's just some news and notes around the NFL. But let's get to the main event. Let's get to the hour. Let's get to the sport that's in full fledged. We're heading down the home stretch with only at minimum between 5 to 8 games for everyone left in the association. We have the NBA, and it's time for the NBA playoffs. It's coming up very, very soon. The play-in games will be coming up very, very soon. Where does that leave Rodgers in the mix? Well, you gotta. I just want to, type in with this. I believe no one. Just to answer this question, I believe no one is necessarily a for sure thing. Yeah, Maddox can get cut. Isaiah Rodgers can definitely come in and take the spot. But then he's also here for kickoffs. With the new rule with the kickoffs and everything like that as well. So I don't believe unless your name is Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, any of those offensive linemen, basically the offense in general. But the defense, I don't believe anyone, unless your name, like I said, is Jalen Carter, unless your name is Jaden Carter, I don't believe anyone on that defense is, you know, for sure going to be here other than the young guys like the Jalen Carters, like, Joshua who resigned, like, the young Bulldogs that we have in Nolan Smith, stuff like that, and Kobe Dean. I feel like all those guys will still be here. But the rest of those guys, no way. That's why I said earlier, this team that we have now will be completely different going into week 1 in Brazil. And I don't believe anyone is just certified just because Avante Maddox is back. I don't believe he's just solidified his spot back as the nickel cornerback. I don't believe that, especially with this injury history and things of that nature. Yes, the comfortability and the familiarity with the team is very good, but listen, we want the best team and the best product on the field and the best players on the field. So, but let's get back. Like I said, the NFL, the NBA, man, NBA season is full effect, heading down the home stretch, going into the playoffs. Play-in games will be here very, very, very soon. We talking about a week and a half left of games, so the play-ins will definitely be back. Will be very soon. Yes, sir. Appreciate you asking the questions for sure. So let's get right into it. Last night, y'all see the shirt is already on. See the hat, y'all already know it. Listen, I don't care about all the other nonsense and negativity. The Philadelphia 76ers were in action last night. They played the Miami Heat in Miami with Joel Embiid back for his second game. It was a great game, a great win, probably the Sixers' biggest win all season, and it's without a doubt. Even when Embiid was here, and now that when he was out, and even while he's back now, just the biggest win because of all the implications that comes into this win last night. Going into the game last night, obviously we all know the night before the Pacers had lost to the Brooklyn Nets. So within the standings, if you've been watching from 6 to 10, it's been moving up and down. All the teams have been juggling the position, and more specifically the Philadelphia 76ers. More specifically, they've been juggling between being in the play-in or having a number 6 seed, getting some more rest, maybe getting some more practice time in for Joel Embiid, and potentially playing someone like the Cavs instead of having to play an extra game in the play-in tournament, and then being the 8th seed and having to play right out the gate the Boston Celtics. And I'll get into that a little bit later as far as matchups and different things of that nature. Who I'm afraid of, who I'm not afraid of, who I think we can beat, who I think we can beat, stuff like that. But I just want to get into the implications of the game last night. Like I said, right now, after the big win last night, the Sixers are currently a half game out of the 6th seed. I need y'all, I want to explain, I guess, the significance as to why, we're talking about a 6 seed versus a play-in tournament. We got to think about before Joel Embiid went out with his injury, the Sixers were, I believe, number 3 in the East. And so we're essentially talking about, with Joel Embiid, a number 3 seed being in the play-in tournament. Think about that. Like, essentially, if no injury happened to Embiid and they play out this season, we talking about the Sixers could potentially be within the 1 to 3 seedings within the season. So we talking about a team that's that low in the standings potentially should have been higher, essentially like that. So that's why the win was such a huge win, because we potentially could get that 6 seed. And the 6 seed has its pros. Obviously, you get a little more time to rest, because obviously before the playoffs start, you have a window of games. I believe it's like a 2 or 3 day window play-in games for teams within the 8th to the 10th seed. They're playing the juggling to see who makes it into the playoffs to start. So you get obviously more rest for Embiid. You obviously get more time for him to practice and gel with his teammates as well. Get more conditioning in as well. So it says a lot of pros when it comes to that. Obviously playing a quote unquote lesser team, not out the gate playing like the Bucks or playing like the Celtics or anything like that. So you got potentially playing, let's say, a Knicks or playing a Cleveland Cavaliers matchup your first round, which is I feel like could be a good matchup for someone like Joel Embiid who's just coming back. Not saying it's going to be easy, because those will be going some good tough games to play, because playoff times is playoff time, but you're not already in that mode of just like boom, it's game time. You got Giannis on the other side, you got Dame on the other side, you got Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown or whatever, or the Celtics or Bucks in general on the other side straight out, and you got Joel Embiid coming back. So it's definitely significant for them to get that win last night. Now being only a half game out of the 6 seed, so you got 3 teams juggling for that 6 seed right now, which is the Indiana Pacers, the Miami Heat, and the Philadelphia 76ers. And that win was so big. So let's dive into the game a little bit last night. Let's get right into it. So the Sixers beat the Miami Heat 109 to 105 to 105. Now on a 2-game winning streak since Joel Embiid been back. That's 2 games in a row. Obviously, the previous game he's played 29 minutes, gave you 29 points. Very efficient from the free throw line. Went 12 for 12 the last game. Now we going into this game. Joel Embiid ending the game with 29 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. 32 minutes, so the minutes upticked a little bit. So that's good to see. That's great to see. Obviously, watching the game, you see trying to get his legs on it, but the conditioning was a little bit better. He had moments where he was gassed, hands on the knees, bending over or whatever like that. But he definitely looked a little bit better, a little bit, fresher during the game, or had a little bit more pop, hit a little bit more jumpers this time. What you seen in the first game, they were a little flat. They was coming off the back iron, hitting the front rim, stuff like that, what you expect. So he's definitely working through it. He's definitely, getting mentally there. And there's more so now that it's just trying to gel. He's just trying to, work it out, play with it, play with the new players that he's never played with. Yeah, I think about when he got hurt, it was right before the trade deadline. So literally, this present team with the Sixers minus Maxey and Tobias Harris, it's a whole new team. Obviously, with Nicholas Batum being here, KJ Martin being here, Buddy Hill being here, Cameron Payne being here, Kyle Lowry being here right now. That's 5 players that literally play within the rotation, rather starting or coming off the bench. So that's definitely something that to look forward to, because they're getting better. They're going to get better, obviously, with time and gel. So definitely good to see him uh, uh, get going. He's still impacting the game defensively. It was a little bit more movement, a little bit more pop, going after balls, trying to block shots, things of that nature. I still do see just a little gingerness and tendencies to just not fully plant that leg and push off, or fully plant that leg and explode for a block. He picks and chooses his moments, because it was moments in the games where he went up and got block shots. He added a new offensive repertoire. Who thought you can add another weapon to someone like Joel's and B games out there with the floater? When I seen the little baby stop, pop one leg and floater, I said, oh, okay. That's something they're going to have to worry about now, off that pick and roll now, because not only pick and roll, you can dive to the basket, go get a bucket, or pick and pop out for that 20-footer, that 30-footer for a three. Now he's coming off the pick and roll. He can go downhill. You retreat and think he's going to the rim. He stop, he pop and floated right over you. That's another element to the game that he got to do. And like I said, he's still working himself back. We're not going to even talk about how he hasn't really been. He's been more so face up game right now, Joel Embiid. But as he get more comfortable, as mentally he gets more confidence within his knee and everything, a lot more back to the basket will come, banging down there a little bit, post moves. The thing I like the things that he's doing. He's running the floor, which I love to see. Running the floor, sealing off defenders, catching it high. Off the glass and stuff like that. So Joel Embiid, like I said, for what it's worth, listen, coming back off a procedure like that, missing 2 months, 9 weeks removed from the actual procedure, is nothing but good things. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey had another stellar night. He played 41 minutes, 37 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, a near triple double again. I love Tyrese Maxey. He jumped into it. He did something I wanted him to do a couple games when Joel Embiid was out. Get the ball at the end of the game, made some late clutch baskets. Excuse me. Late clutch baskets by Tyrese Maxey. It was a one off the screen, step back, a shot in the mid range. I love to see that he's taking a lot more mid range shots as well. He's not just to the basket or 3-pointers now, so he's definitely taking charge of that. And I love even why when I was watching last night, it was moments where it was like, heard him on, it was mic'd up moments rather, I should say. He talking, putting people this way, you go here, Kelly. And I'm talking about, he's talking to vets. We talking about Kelly Oubre's, Joel Embiid, come this way, go to Kyle Lowry, go. So he's taking charge, being in that leadership role, really trying to, assert himself within this NBA and doing a great job, essentially. Like I said, he's a young cat, and for this much maturity, I love it. And obviously, coming up this offseason, he's about to get paid. He's eligible already for the super max. We talk about over $200 million for him. So like, if that's what he's going to command and want to get paid, the things that he's doing right now absolutely is what we're going to need moving forward with this team and Joel Embiid, because the Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey duo is definitely, and I mean definitely, a factor and definitely lethal and definitely going to be a problem for teams. They started the game off on a 15-0 run. Just them two. No one else even scored the bucket. It was just them two between Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. 15 straight buckets, a 14-0 run by Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. So that dynamic duo right there in the South is lethal. And then what can I say about the guy, man? Kelly freaking Oubre, man. For me, it's easy. You gotta re-sign him next year. Again, had another great game. Kelly Oubre, 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 crucial. I mean crucial, because up to that point, he was 0 for 4 from 3, but hit 2 crucial 3-pointers last night. Late in the game, a game where it was teetering. Miami started getting some momentum. They started running away a little bit with the game. They took the lead. It was up, I believe, at much as like 9 points. I believe 9 to 6, 6 to 9 points that they were up. And he comes down and not back to back, but a possession, and then the possession after a possession hits 2 crucial 3-pointers, one at the 7-point mark and one, I believe, is around about the 5. Oh, actually, the 3-minute mark before Joel Embiid came back in, because this was during the time that Joel Embiid even was out of the game, and you needed points as well, which I'm gonna get into right now. I feel that although we did not want to see Joel Embiid, hurt and not play at all during the stretch that he wasn't playing, I believe it was a bit of a blessing in disguise for this Philadelphia 76ers. And this is why I say that. Joel Embiid being out of the being out as long as he was forced the Philadelphia 76ers to find themselves, find their identity, find their role. So during that time, even though we lost a lot of games, that's why I didn't say much, but I also because I was more so analyzing what am I seeing on the floor, what's going on. So you got guys like obviously Maxi growing into his own. That's the easy part. But you find out that Kelly Oubre is someone you can rely on. He defends the best player on the opposite team. So there go your guy. He can get buckets when you need to get a bucket, which we needed from a wing scorer for a very long time. Very athletic doing that as well. It was a crazy dunk he had last night, even with against the Miami Heat. Down the stretch as well. It was that crunch time as well. Crazy dunk as well. So you had Kelly Oubre as well, showing that he can be relied on. He has his moments, but he can be relied on down the stretch of games. I believe he played 41 minutes last night. So not only be relied on, even be relied on to play substantial amount of minutes as well. Then you find out guys like Kyle Lowry, who still can shoot the three, still savvy vet. Yes, not the quickest, fastest guy, but up here mentally, you know, can still do it, still lobs at the rim, making great defensive plays, hitting timely threes. Even last night, you seen Kyle Lowry hit some timely threes, two threes back to back, which we needed at the time because the Heat was making a run. Savvy plays, directing the offense. You have another guy that can handle the ball, so you can take the ball out of Tyrese's Maxey hands at times, so he can alternate between that point guard to shooting guard role now. That he can now sit there and play that role now as well. Excuse me, and doesn't have to always have the ball in his hand as well. So you got that going on when it comes to Tyrese to Kyle Lowry, another ball handler, another general, another person that knows Nick Nurse's system that can direct people and get people where they need to be, stuff like that. Then you got guys like people at the time didn't like it, and I was one of the ones because I understood the value Pat Bev can play. But Cameron Payne, you have to give props to the guy. He has been absolutely great for this team, hitting threes, getting to the basket, getting buckets we need to. you know, Another guard ball handler that again can you compare that has been times out there. You compare where Tyrese makes it or run the second team with a Kyle Lowry. Obviously the addition of Buddy Hill, who as of late has been, struggling a little bit for three, but that's more of I feel like it's more of a juggling of the what do you call it? Him just, still trying to find himself within the team with Joel Embiid back, because I do believe he's being overused. Buddy Hill, especially within this part of his career, is literally just, DHO, on ball screen, just, a set shooter. You don't want him doing too much dribbling the ball, going to the basket, things of that nature like that, which he was called to do. Obviously, with Joel Embiid being out, he was called to do more. But I truly believe that would be more. That would get better over time, and he even spoke about it that he's just so eager to just get back into the lab, get back into the court with Joel Embiid to continue to get better when it comes to that, and him getting better when it comes to that with Joel Embiid and him trying to get better. Uh, 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 with him trying to get better with that and getting better at shooting the shot. So I do believe that's going to be something as well that I believe Joel Embiid and Buddy Hill will be better for that. But again, these additions have been proving themselves very well. Even a guy like KJ Martin, who didn't have a role essentially, but now he's here playing a small ball five. Nick Batum, a savvy vet and hit threes, a great passer, things of that nature like that. So they was able to find themselves. They were able to find their roles. They were able to find out what they do well. And now you're going to insert the big man into the middle of all these things. Now it's time to just gel all those things together with him, work through him, but still have your role. And I say that because last night it was very evident that in the past, in the fourth quarter, the Sixers are down. Like I said, they were down at this moment around 6 to 9 points. So that's not, and we talking about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So that's a lot of time. But if you watch Sixers game, you would know like games like that, we lose. And also games like that, Joel Embiid has to stay in the whole fourth quarter just to be able to stay afloat and even have a chance to win. But Nick Nurse took Joel Embiid out of the game. So we're talking about from over 6 minutes left in the game up until the 3:30 mark, Joel Embiid was not in that game. And guess what happened by the time Joel Embiid came back? The second three by Kelly Oubre was hit, and now the Sixers were up one at this moment, or I think they were either tied or they were at least up one at that time out, and Joel Embiid coming back into the game. And those things were learned over the 2 months of Joel Embiid not being on the floor. They had to learn how to fight through adversity. They had to know how to fight those bench minutes when Joel Embiid is not in the game, that they have to be able to know how to still execute the offense and win games. So that time he was all those things. Yes, we lost a lot of games. I feel like we only lost, I believe, 13 games. And when we won only about 13 games or lost over 20 games, 20 something to 30 games while Joel Embiid was out. So during that time, though, while looking at the game, you seen Maxey taking strides, getting better late in games, hitting clutch shots in that loss. Had Kelly Oubre taking clutch shots, making great defensive plays, maybe in a loss. Kyle Lowry making savvy plays, getting steals, hitting clutch threes, maybe in a loss. Campaign going 4 straight threes in a row, maybe in a loss. Stuff like that. But again, I know I could do this. I could do that. Let's just hold. Let's just hold. Because in those games that we lost, we're talking about we only losing about 2 points, only losing about 1 point, coming back from 20 down, coming back from 15 down. But then, just run out of gas in that last 2-minute window and then lose a game. But you did all that work to get there. But now you got a guy, coming back at the 3:30 mark. Like, yup, we brought us back. We got us here, big guy. Take us home. Joel Embiid enters the game with 3 minutes left in the game. So now, yes, he didn't, this particular game, I can speak of, yes, he didn't necessarily score abundance of points, but the defense was there. Grabbed a secure the rebound was there. Not necessarily getting blocks, but deterring people from coming into the paint. The Sixers, I believe, in their fourth quarter, if I can pull this up real fast, the Sixers in their fourth quarter, they went on a 22-17 run in their fourth quarter alone to win the game. And to put even more purposes on, the effect of Joel Embiid and now the bench being able to actually contribute when he's not on the floor, Joel Embiid was when it comes to his plus minus was a minus 19 on the court with the team. When, usually in the past, Joel Embiid on the court, his plus minus is plus would be over 30, 25 to 30, where he actually was, quote unquote, a negative for the team, and they still found a way to win that game because of these guys learning, trusting, and believing in himself. We actually have a coach here who I'm gonna get into as well. And prior to the last guy we had here, who I'm gonna get into as well later on, we have a coach here that trusts the young guys, that trusts that they can run my system, that can trust to have KJ Martin out there in a crucial moment, that trust to have a Paul Reed out there for a 4-minute stretch, who went out there and made some defensive plays, a great block he had as well on Jimmy Butler, that the block that actually got us to the run out for a Kelly Oubre 3 to tie the game or go about one in that fourth quarter. So these are things that they've learned over the time that I've told people plenty of times, like, hey, listen, yes, we're losing. I understand it sucks. It's not a great watch. It's a bad watch. But look at what they're learning. Look at what they're doing. Look at what they're developing with each other. That they actually have chemistry with other teammates other than Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid doesn't necessarily have to be on the floor with the team to be able to have anything positive happen for that team. So that was definitely great to see by those young guys, by those veterans, those new guys that's here with the team. That now you could go into a playoff scenario knowing that when Joel Embiid is not on the floor, that a lead is just going to evaporate soon as your bench players, get on the floor. So my takeaway, Joel Embiid is definitely getting healthy. He's definitely going to be better going into the playoffs, whether it be the play-in or the playoffs. Tyrese Maxey's definitely still growing. Kelly Oubre signed him to an extent to a contract for next season. Now Daryl Morey, and then the contributing players, definitely the Kyle Lowry, Cameron Paynes, the Buddy Hills, all those guys that came over in those trades, they're actually being contributors to this team, NBA players that's able to actually do something. And then, like I said, just to even talk about the play-in, probably unpopular, but even with the play-in situation, I've said this before in the past. Even if we have to take that route, I'll take that route when it comes to the play-in situation as well. Listen, we talking about being the eighth seed, you know, going into the play-in. I still have faith at Joel Embiid being 75 to 80%, because the 75 to 80% of Joel Embiid is better than 90% of the NBA. So definitely has to bode well for this team, and other team has to take notice that if this team actually gets it right and gets it going and actually discovers some type of momentum and camaraderie going into the playoffs, absolutely the 76ers will be a hard team to face in the playoffs. The Philadelphia 76ers will be a hard team to face in the NBA playoffs for any team they play, whether that be the Celtics, whether that be the Bucks, whether it be Cavs, the Knicks, the Magic, whoever you want to sit there and talk about. I believe the 76ers, we talking about, like I said earlier, going back to what we said, we talking about the 76ers who, if Joel Embiid played all year, would have been within the top three in the standards of the seed. We're talking about a top three team in the Eastern Conference now being in the play-in or having to be an eighth seed or potentially a sixth seed. That's trouble for the NBA. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again, and I'll stand on that hill until proven otherwise. That the 76ers is going to be trouble for teams in the NBA Eastern Conference playoffs, regardless. If Joel Embiid can get back to a great conditioning shape, 80% of Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey ascending, Kelly Oubre, veterans, Kyle Lowry, Cameron Payne, whoever you want to say, building and going. We get Buddy Hill back on track, hitting threes. Listen, sky's the limit. And yes, an Eastern Conference berth finally can be made. This will be the healthiest Joel Embiid has been going into a playoff series. This will be the most rested Joel Embiid going into a playoffs series. This is the most cohesive team we've seen going into the playoffs. I would say, yes, I would say that this is probably the most cohesive 76ers team we've seen going into the playoffs as well, because of the 2 month stint that Joel Embiid wasn't on the floor this season. So it's going to be a great one. I can't wait to see what's going on. Like I said, the Sixers are definitely in a great space. Give me 1 second. Sorry. All right, I'm sorry about that. We had a little technical issue with the camera, but we back. I'm here. I'm back. I ain't leave you guys. I'm glad you. I hope you guys are still here with me. But like I said, man, the 76ers definitely is in a good space going into the playoffs. So, yeah, man, let's see what happens going down the stretch. I believe the Sixers have 5 games next. I think the next game, I believe. Let me see. The next game the Sixers will be playing. Let's see. Who the Sixers play next? Sixers. The Memphis Grizzlies we play. I believe that's what's today. Today's Friday. To play tomorrow, Saturday. We play the Memphis Grizzlies next. Saturday. Yeah, yep. Saturday, April 6th at 8 o'clock. So again, let's see how this go. 5 games left. Let's see how we go. We do have a back-to-back within these last 5 games as well. Not sure if Joel Embiid will play the second one. I would probably right now tend to say no. But we shall see. Let's see how this goes out. Let's see how they, pan out where they end up in the 6 seed or the play in. And again, I'm not worried about which either avenue that might be, rather it be, the play in or the 6 seed. So I feel like it's not even about where they're seated. It's more so about how well they're together, how healthy or more conditioned and ready Joel Embiid is in the play-in playoffs, whatever you want to call it, and how much the team is together going into that situation. So that's more of a thing that when it comes to me. So let's see how it's go. If we can get the 6 seed, great. If not, let's get it rocking and rolling. More NBA, like I said, NBA playoffs is around the corner. Anyone can win it. Anyone can win the NBA playoffs. We already know the Western Conference is just a cluster. You know what I'm saying? Western Conference is definitely something that's wild. We all know what's going on out there. You got the top 2 seeds with the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, a bunch of guys in the middle. But I just more so specifically talking about play-in. The teams that's in the play-in, we talking about uh who's in the play-in. We talking about the Lakers, Warriors, and Suns. We talking about our generation's superstars: Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. We talking about all these cats are in the play-in. So the play-in, I know people complained about the play-in in the past, but when you're sitting here talking about teams like that being in the play-in, that you talking about when the playoffs start, you having first round matchups, Lakers maybe against the Nuggets, and maybe the Warriors against the Timberwolves. These matchups going on, or even in the play-in itself, you talking about right now. I believe right now, if I'm not mistaken, we talking about potentially in the play-in. We talking about the Lakers and the Warriors are playing each other the first game in the play-in series. So we already talking about how the potential of the freaking playing games itself. So yeah, right now in the Western Conference play-in, we have the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors being the first team in the play-ins playing each other. Then we talk about right now as well. We have in the play-in. Oh, because the Suns won, so they actually moved up to 6. So the Suns are actually out of the play-in. So now we got the Pelicans and Kings that are now in the play-in. But either way, we're talking about a Lakers Warriors playing game that potentially could be a first round matchup in the playoffs against the Nuggets. So that Western Conference is definitely something to behold in that Western Conference. I still believe at the end of the day, the Western Conference representation, one of them for sure is going to be the Nuggets for sure, because they just been the cream of the crop. You can't deny the fact of who they are. Can they be knocked off? Absolutely. Can, let's say, the Warriors get in there, who's been playing sensational as of late, leading the league and rebounding just the last month. Been Steph Clay been shooting fantastically. Their defense has been amazing. Kaminga has been coming into his own. You talking about that a matchup that could possibly be a knockoff right there as well. Lakers, I know people poo-poo them, but it's the Lakers. I don't care what you say. The additions that they have, they've been playing better as well. So you talking about a Lakers maybe or Warriors matchup with the Nuggets first round. You never know what might happen out there in the Western Conference. Got the Mavericks out there, the Clippers, the Suns, and the Sixers. So it's gonna be a fight in that Western Conference. So I believe that's going to be a good one as well. Even when you hop to the East, like I said, I told you about that 6 seed situation. The Pacers right now, they're in the 6 seed right now, but you got the Sixers and the Heat. They will play each other in the play-in again if the play-ins was to start right now. Then you got the Hawks and the Bulls as well. Those are the lower teams, but I only mentioned that because, like I said, we've seen the route of the Heat. They went to the championship the last 5 years twice, and last year they was in the one year they went to the championship. They started in the playoff, the play-in game. So I believe these play-in games are very, very good. I believe in these playoff games. It does add suspense. It does add more uh, um, value to the game. It does add more like worthwhile playing uh, towards the end of the season because you want to get these seedings and different things of that nature that there are people trying to avoid the play in and stuff like that. And then you got teams like I said, the Warriors, or you got like the Sixers and the Heat that's in the play-in right now currently that could come out and play teams like the Bucks or the Celtics. We all know the Bucks right now are the cream of the crop right now. Uh, uh, they already in the playoffs, so they already solidified their spot. They're the top guys. They're the people that you want to knock off as well. But listen, I'm not afraid of them as well. I told you I was gonna get to this. I'm not afraid of them at all. Yes, they have been, but I say that only because of the style of play that the Boston Celtics play. It's just your turn, Jason Tatum, your turn, Jaylen Brown. Mind you, these are great players. I'm not gonna say act like they're not great, that they can't win you games. Not, absolutely not. But I don't. We all know what the NBA is about. How you win championships. Yes, it's a star-driven league, but when your offense is literally just give me the ball and move out the way, those stars aren't those stars. You can say that with the MJ. You can say that with a Steph Curry. You can say that with a Kevin Durant. You can say that with a LeBron James. Anyone else? You can say that at one point with a Kawhi Leonard, prior the Clipper Kawhi Leonard. You know, stuff like that. But the cream rises to the crop, and again, we still have one of the top three wherever you want to rank him at. He's in my top three Joel players in the NBA and Joel Embiid. So you always gonna have a chance against anybody. And like I said, it's all about how you going into the playoffs, the rhythm, the comfortability, the swagger, the confidence that you have. It's all about that going into the playoffs. So that's definitely something I can see happening the first round. But even if that's not it, and let's say we get the 6 seed and we get we get a first round matchup or whatever like that, then our next matchup is, let's say, the Milwaukee Bucks. Why should we be afraid? Why should we be afraid of that? Why should we be afraid of the Milwaukee? Have we seen what the Milwaukee Bucks have been doing as of late? And then a side note, obviously we have the New York Knicks there as well. Obviously the news broke the other day that Julius Randle, he's opted for, not even opted, he was more so just like, listen, dude, you got to get it. Season-ending shoulder surgery. He tried everything he could to rehab and try to get back for the playoffs. It just wasn't working out. So surgery it is. So no Julius Randle for the Knicks. So the Knicks still been playing well. So they're not going to be an easy out with them as well. But again, we can't beat the Knicks if we wind up matched up with the Knicks as well. You can't beat the Knicks even without Joel Embiid. Those games were close, minus the one game. That was a revenge game because we beat them a night before or whatever. Like, they came back and whooped our behind. I get it, but we can't beat them as well. You know. But then back to these Bucks. I want to play something, right? I want to play something for you guys right now with the Milwaukee Bucks and them. And I'm gonna get back to the whole playoff scenario prediction thing, and we're gonna get on out of here because the time has been well spent. I appreciate you guys stepping in. The morning hustle with Open Gym. Definitely, continue to like, comment, share, all those things, whatever. But again, the Milwaukee Bucks, man. The Milwaukee Bucks, man. You know what? Let me do it this way. I'm gonna play this first and then I'm gonna get into it. This was Doc Rivers, not last night, it was 2 games prior. Up until now, we all know what's going on, but just 2 games prior. This is Doc Rivers after a loss. I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna get right back into it, and we gonna talk about
been sitting back and watching everything. Not just our players, but our travel crew, everything. And I've made a lot of notes. I will say that. I won't share that. But we don't bring the necessary professionalism, seriousness on the road. And that's something that we can fix. That's something we're going to have to fix.
Do you feel like that just gets cleaned up in the playoffs? Like, have you seen that in the past?
Yeah, I'm not concerned. Yeah. The playoffs are a new beast, but I'm looking at it for the long run, too. I mean, it's not just for now. Like, we got to be a better road team.
Doc Rivers. What? This guy, Doc Rivers, I'm going to go there, is the most overrated championship winning head coach ever. I am completely and utterly sorry. I am absolutely, it's no way. This man, to this day, even now, is this man, for losing, you're even blaming the travel crew? The people that's packing the bags, the bus, it's their fault you guys are losing? Prior to Doc Rivers getting the job, under Adrian Griffin, the team was the best in the NBA, 30-13. Since Doc Rivers backstabbed him, got the job, this Milwaukee Bucks team has been a 500 team since, and is currently on a not even two, is more than that, but he's been losing, period. Granted, Dame Dollar hasn't been there the last 2 games specifically, that they lost 2 in a row. But you're blaming, first of all, you're the head coach. The Milwaukee Bucks did not bring you in to be the GM, the president of operations. Didn't bring you in to observe what's going on all around in the organization, from the chef to the trash man to the bus driver. No, you're worried about the future when your team right now is struggling defensively, struggling to score, struggling to keep leads. We all know how that go. And you're worried about the bus driver. Doc Rivers literally just threw the bus driver under the bus, and the bus driver was driving the bus. I can't believe the unmitigated gall by Doc Rivers and how he speaks. So this, like I said, the most overrated. This man had 3 Hall of Famers and a borderline Hall of Famer in Rajon Rondo, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, all those guys on his team. He didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to do anything for that team to win, especially during that time when you had no one else other than a young LeBron James to really deal with in the East. And this man talks like he's out here winning 5, 6, 7 championships. Doc Rivers, you need to sit and look in the mirror and realize your faults in this, your stubbornness, your lack of I would say building and culture, and your lack of adjustments, your lack of development of younger players. It's no way he's still sitting around, walking around, talking like this. No way. No way what my guy Rob Parker used to say when he was on TV. Shout out Rob Parker. He's doing a lot of different things, especially with the Black MLB Network situation going on. Rob Parker used to always say, "No way, no how. No way, no how." Doc Rivers should still be walking around talking like his stuff don't stink. You need to figure out what you need to do with your team. Again, hints back to what I said. Why can't the 76ers win? When you got a guy like that, I don't want it. I don't want this to happen, but like the perfect scenario for the Sixers would be hilarious was to play the Bucks and they're down 20 and the Sixers come back and win that game. He blow another 20-point lead because at this point, Doc Rivers, and y'all know me, if you know me personally, people that do know me, I root for all my black and brown and color people within these industries to succeed. But I'm no idiot, and I'm a results kind of guy as well. If you can't produce, you're nothing. And since that championship, Doc Rivers hasn't been producing whatsoever. Every team he's gone to, Clippers, the Sixers, and we're going to see what he does with the Bucks. So they got on JJ Pat Bear. Shout out Pat Bear. When JJ made his assumption about JJ, he was absolutely correct. When are you going to sit there and hold yourself accountable for the things that you do or the lack thereof that you do on a basketball court to help your team succeed? What do? You don't do anything, man. I'm done with the Doc Rivers is the most overrated coach that's won a championship in the NBA. Absolutely. So, like I said, man, Sixers, great win last night. Eagles made some moves. Julius Randle done for the season. The Western Conference is going to be hellacious. The Eastern Conference, I believe, is still a toss-up. Whether you want to believe it or not, I know the Boston Celtics are there. But if I believe my Sixers get right or someone get hot, they can be knocked off because of their gameplay. You know, Maxey continue to grow. The Houston Texans, they're going to be on the rise for years to come. Definitely going to be a threat out there in the AFC. It's a lot going on in the NFL, the NBA. Obviously, the baseball has started as well. We'll dive in a lot into more of that as the season gets more into motion, you know. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys stepping in the room with me. Again, this is the Morning Hustle Open Gym Network, man. Again, if you like what you heard, if you enjoyed yourself, we going to be here. I try to do this at least once or twice a week for you guys just to, get things rolling, get this live thing going, getting this community built up. So make sure you tell everybody, make sure you like, comment, and share with everybody. Tell everybody, man, come have fun. Let's talk sports. We're going to hit everything that comes around on the court, off the court, on the field, off the field, on the ice, off the ice, whatever. On the diamond, on the diamond. So I got everybody here. Whatever it is, man, just make sure you tap in with us. And we're going to hit all these subjects that come up, man. But this is going to be a fun season to going down the stretch of these games. Obviously, whatever going on in sports, you can tell me. You can leave me comments, your displeasures, your pleasures, the things that's happening, that's going on as well. You see the number at the bottom of the screen. Hit the call line, hit the message, leave a message, 267-630-3828. Make sure y'all hit the line up. If you got topics you want me to talk about, things that happen, hit that line up as well. Leave a voice message. I'm going to try to answer the voicemails as well. We're going to put them on the live as well. We're going to listen to those as well. We're going to have fun with this thing, man. Open gym. We're going to have fun with this thing, man. So I appreciate you guys stepping in the gym with me. This is your boy AB, and this is the Morning Hustle presented by Open Gym Network, and we are out of here. And until next time, OGs, we out here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.